On the morning of June 21st, we drove to Thera and took the cable car down to the old port of Santorini. We had a boat tour scheduled to take us to Nea Kameni, the volcano of Santorini. We grabbed a quick little bite at Tavern Sirtaki before boarding the ship. Our boat reminded me of an old pirate ship, and it offered great views of Santorini and the other surrounding islands.
Είστε σε απολύτως ακολουθείτε την ίδια ακριβώς διαδρομή για την επιστροφή σας. Δεν ξεχνάτε, ώρα αναχώρησης είναι στις 12:30 και όνομα σκάφους Άγιο.
You could immediately see all of the volcanic rock on Nea Kameni.
Doesn't explode while we're on it.
After the guide talked to the group about the history and geology of the island, we went on up to the top. I let Nikki go on ahead of me because I knew I would slow her down. It was really hot already, and this trail was pretty much straight uphill. This is no joke. Good Lord. I finally made it to the top, and the smell of the sulfur was very strong, and you could even see steam coming out of some of the rocks. They gave us about 90 minutes to spend on Nea Kameni. We walked back down the trail towards the boat so we could go to our next stop. As we were waiting for our boat to head to Paleo Kameni, we noticed the large Royal Caribbean cruise ship coming into port. More on that later.
Of Paleo Kameni. There, we're gonna meet the volcanic thermal springs. As you'll be able to see from your own in a while.
We jumped off of the boat into the water and started swimming over to the thermal springs of Paleo Kameni.
It's definitely. I'm in the back. We go swim backwards because it's easier on my legs.
So how is this sulfur? Because there's an active volcano under it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's comforting.
We're in the sulfur water here with the active volcano.
The water in the thermal springs was probably 20 or 30 degrees warmer than the ocean water. It was also very brown due to the sulfur and all of the volcanic activity. Rubbing the sulfuric mud onto your skin is possibly therapeutic and definitely a popular activity at Paleo Kameni.
Sure, can you see on mine? I'm gonna stop the video.
After 30 minutes in the thermal springs, it was time to swim back to our boat to continue our journey. Remember I mentioned the cruise ship earlier. When we approached the dock area, we noticed there were thousands of cruise ship passengers waiting to ride the cable cars back up to the top. There's no way I was going to walk all the way back up on this extremely hot day, so there was only one other option. Yep, we rode the famous Santorini donkeys. The man assured me that the donkeys were plenty strong enough to carry me all the way back up to the top. It's something I never thought I would do, but it was extremely fun, and it wound up being one of the most memorable things we did on the entire trip. I think they were mules, but in Santorini they call them donkeys, so who am I to argue?
Wow. That's impressive.
It definitely wasn't the smoothest ride, and we both got scraped up from the donkeys rubbing us up against the side of the walls, but it was still a lot of fun and we're so glad that we did it. We were really hungry, and it was time for an amazing lunch. How is it?
It's good. It's so good. Oh my gosh.
We left Thera and drove to Nea, the most famous village in Santorini. We checked into our new hotel, which was one of the cave rooms that's made famous in Santorini. It was an easy 2-minute walk from our room to the Castle of Nea, one of the most popular places to go to watch the famous sunsets of Santorini. Nikki wanted to get some pictures taken in Nea for our last night in Greece. Even though it was a few hours before sunset, crowds were already starting to build. hovering over Santorini, watching the beautiful sky with the sun floating over the Aegean Sea with Ea in the foreground is truly one of the most breathtaking sights I've ever seen. I could see the sun was about to go down, so I put the drone inside and ran over to the sunset spot and got there just in time. Getting to watch the sunset from this most famous location was truly spectacular, and it was definitely a highlight of our trip. We let the crowds clear out and head out of town, and then we went and found some dinner. And afterwards, we topped it off with some more gelato. The next morning, I got up early and walked over to the castle. It was amazing to see Ea so peaceful, not having all of the huge crowds that are there in the evening time. Unfortunately, it was time to check out of our hotel and drive to the airport. We stopped at an overlook to see the beautiful islands of Santorini one more time. We had such a remarkable time, not only in Santorini, but all of Greece. We both agreed out of all of the locations we went to on our entire trip, Santorini was our very favorite place. Now it was time to hop on a plane and fly back to Milan for one more night in Europe before returning home to the United States.